My name is Ray, the market trader. And before we get started, we'll need to get through our risk disclosure. So we'll go ahead and start with that. So just want to remind everyone that the content that's being published and distributed by the market trader is to be used as general information only. None of the information provided by the company or contained herein is intended as investment advice and offer to buy, sell, recommend, endorse, sponsor any security, future, company, or fund. We all understand that the use of this information is to be used at your own risk, and the company, its partners, representatives, agents, employees, contractors assume no responsibility or liability for any use or misuse of such information. Future trading does carry a fair amount of risk. It is not for every investor. An investor could potentially lose all or more of their investment capital. Only risk capital money that can be lost without jeopardizing one's financial security or lifestyle should be used for trading, and only those individuals with sufficient risk capital should consider trading. Again, nothing contained herein is a solicitation or an offer to buy, sell futures, options, or Forex, and past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. All right. So now that we've gotten through the risk disclosure here, guys, good morning, everyone. Good morning, Greg. Good morning, Wetlands. Dark screen. Okay, let's see if we can sort that out here. Okay. All right. So we'll just pause there for a bit, make sure it's visible. Buenos dias, Sweet Pea. Okay. All good. All right. Excellent. All right. So let's go ahead and turn our attention here to the news here now. We're going to go ahead and open up our financial portal here and, get a sense here of what news we have in store today could impact the markets. Okay. So we'll pause here for a bit and ensure that it's indeed visible to everyone. And we'll go ahead and run through this. Okay. So big day in news, I would say today. We have jobless claims coming in here, or has already been reported here. So we have ECB rate statement. We have the initial jobless claims. We have CPI. We had CPI both year over year or month over month. We have continued jobless claims. Okay, all come in. So looks like we had a little bit less in the way of some continued jobless claims. CPI was above expectation. Initial jobless claims was above expectation. So a little bit of a mixed bag. We have still the 30-year bond report coming out here at 1 p.m. Eastern. Okay, and we have Adobe reporting at the after the bell here today. So fair amount of news that has, I guess, hit the markets. I'm not seeing as much of a reaction to the market here, but we still have tomorrow we have some inflationary numbers coming from Michigan. Okay, and then Monday looks like we have some sort of interest rate decision. So the market could indeed be waiting for this decision that's coming up, not on Monday, but let's see, so 50 Wednesday and next week. Okay, so that's probably the number that everybody's anticipating. I think there's some expectation, certainly given some of the weak job numbers, that we could be relaxing interest rates in some way next week. Okay. All right, let's go ahead now that we've gotten through the news here. We're going to go ahead now and turn our attention to the portal. Okay, specifically the trade my charts here and see what kind of market we're in at the moment. Okay, so we'll go ahead and do just that. Okay, we're going to go ahead and stop share here. We're going to open up our charting platform and take a look here. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and start with the daily. Again, kind of beginning to maybe show some signs that we might be headed into some sort of consolidation range here in the gold market. Okay, so this is the third day. Okay, this being a bearish candle here now. The third day of mainly kind of range kind of price action. Okay, yesterday, we did not get any sort of real extension in the market in any significant direction, okay, or at least was not able to hold, and much of that was as a result of the news. Now today's we had some news, and as a result, we got a relatively wide range, and again, the possibility of maybe some range price action. Nonetheless, okay, while we may be seeing a little bit of a slowdown in the advance, we are still very much in a bullish trend in this market. I wouldn't say at this point that we've broken any sort of structure here to the downside that would indicate that there's any sort of necessarily any change in sentiment here at the moment. Okay. We continue to make higher highs and higher lows in the market, while the momentum to the upside has kind of, I would say, maybe lost the same amount of steam that it had during this area. It's still nonetheless in an upward trend. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and take a look at the 4-hour chart. Looking at the 4-hour chart, we're going to go ahead and turn off the initial balance range here for a moment and take a look and see what kind of market we're in here. So it appears, okay, looking at this chart here from say the close of Wednesday here, okay, so close of Wednesday, okay, into Tuesday, looks like the market has been I guess more down than up. Okay. This does look like maybe the beginnings of maybe some sort of structure here on the 4-hour that could be an indication, right? If I draw my little channel, right, you guys all are aware that I do like drawing my channels here. Well, this is the first time I see that we've broken some structure here to the downside. Okay. So on the 4-hour chart, I'm starting to see maybe some indication that maybe there is a potential leg lower in this market. Okay. We've broken the channel here to the downside. We're in the midst of retesting the lower end of that channel. So as long as we stay below, right, below that channel, that maybe is starting to give us some evidence that maybe we continue to the downside in this market. Now, where could the market go? Well, I think if we can get below 3660, I think 3630, 3640 is not out of the realm of possibility here. Okay, to get to relatively quickly. Okay. Moving on to the 30-minute chart. Looking at the 30-minute chart. Good morning, everyone. Will, Alejandro, Faye. Okay. So let's take a look at the 30-minute chart here. You can see that price is currently, I'm going to go ahead and remove the channel that I've drawn here on the daily. Okay. I think we have a sense of the channel here. So you can see that price is below VWAP. We have a relatively wide initial balance range as a result of the news, right? And we have a wicks on both ends. Yeah, strong rejection here to the upside. Okay. And rejection to the downside. Okay. So I can say that, we're rejecting both ends here. Okay. So I would say a little bit of indecision. Okay. A little bit of indecision. I would say that the rejection to the downside is aligned with the general direction that we've been seeing. Okay. We did get a little bit of a double bottom pattern kind of establishing here. And this candle is still under formation here. Next 7 minutes, we'll have a better sense here. Okay. Right now, price is below value. Okay. As long as we remain below value, our sentiment, I guess, needs to remain bearish. Okay. But the moment we start to see maybe price getting above or holding above value above VWAP here, maybe that will potentially turn the tides here. Okay. Neutral. Yeah, I think I'm neutral. Not so much because of the neutral. Not so much because of the report, but because of the price action I've seen here of late. Okay. The report has kind of maybe created a little bit of volatility in the markets. We are seeing that we are getting a spike in volume here, right? So 9,000 market buy orders, okay, or 8,000 market buy orders came into this market. So there's more buying, okay, at this moment in time than there is selling, okay? So if we're looking at this and asking the question, well, am I with this number of orders above sellers, are we seeing the price action that we would expect to see? And honestly, I would say that that's probably not the kind of candle I would expect to see when I've gotten 8,000 orders. Okay, more than sell orders. This candle is a bit too neutral for that kind of volume to come in one direction. So some aggressive buying has come into this market. Has it translated into price? I'm not so sure. Okay, I'm not so sure this is the kind of bullish candle I would expect to see. Okay, all right. Let's go ahead and take a look at the fixed range volume profile. Let's see where price is in relation to yesterday's price action. Okay, so let's see. We're going to go back to the start of Wednesday, back here somewhere. Okay, right there. Okay, we're going to drag that across to the close. All right, so you can see that price is below, okay, below value. All right, now what's interesting, always interesting for me, is it's interesting that price managed to stop almost on a dime. Okay, I always find this amazing. Okay, price managed to close on a dime as a result of the news, right at value area low. Right, this price closed not only stopped at settlement, it stopped at value area low. Okay, from this market. I always find that is amazing that it's able to do that. So it's telling us that we had a lot of resting sell orders at an area where we would expect to see sellers, right? This area right here drove price to the downside. We got the news. It was met with sellers. Okay, and again turned the market, at least temporarily, to the down, right? But there is 8,000 orders. Okay, 8,500 orders that are contributing to this candle, to the buy side. Okay, so that's a fair amount of aggressive buying that's come into the market here. Okay, all right. Let's see. Hey, DeAndre. All right. Let's see what I was going to say. We've done the initial balance. We have a little bit of a double bottom. See if there's anything. Oh, this is what I wanted to do. Okay. Let's take a look here. Let's take a look here across the various markets here, and let's get a sense for the kind of range each session was able to create. All right. So let's start off with Asia and see what kind of session. Okay. Well, Asia was very short. Okay. Real nice extension. Okay, to the downside. Okay, real nice extension to the downside. We got our initial balance range. We got a break of the initial balance range, our retest of initial balance low, and we got to at least the 250%, 300% or more to the downside. Okay, monster trade here to the downside. Reasonably, you probably would have been out here at the 200% extension, right here with this candle right here would have been enough for me to exit out of this trade. Okay, but nonetheless, a very nice extension here to the downside. Yes, enough to take notice and maybe to start looking at these markets in a different during different sessions here. Okay, let's take a look at the London session. All right, so London. Okay, what was the market able to do? Well, market did also take it lower. Okay, during London. But this feels more like a kind of a failed auction. Now, this was obviously contributed by some news here, right? So during this candle here was a result of some news, but not as bearish as, say, maybe the Asia session for sure. Okay, the buyers have been able to kind of maybe stem the tide of price action. Okay, at least to the downside. And now it appears that we are in some sort of potential range here. Okay, so it'll be interesting to see over the next couple of minutes how this candle closes, whether this candle closes below VWAP, whether this candle closes above. Okay, on our 9, was it right now? It's above our 9 EMA. Okay, so a little bit of mixed signals here. Okay, so again, issue that I have, and I think the thing that we had issue with yesterday is right now we're going to inherit a pretty wide initial balance range, very wide initial balance range. Okay. Now, to expect the price to extend this range in either direction is going to be is not going to be an easy task, right? Can it happen? Sure. Can the extension be of the 50 or 100% variety? I'm not sure. Certainly 50%, certainly possibility, right? But given this range, we definitely know where the buyers and sellers are in this market, right? Buyers right at settlement, sellers right at settlement, buyers just below this area of structure here. Okay, so I think headed into the market, difficult to say given the width of the initial balance range. I'm going to say that maybe we are headed into a session that could be in some sort of range. Okay, as we head into the session, I expect that gold will remain inside this wide range here. Now, is it tradable? Certainly. I would say that we want to focus in on the edges of initial balance if we are going to participate in this market, but it's probably going to be a range type of trading. Okay, that's my expectation. That's kind of how I'm going to approach this market today. Okay, I don't expect that the market is going to move in any one direction. It certainly is possible, but I don't expect it to be very directional kind of trading. It's going to be directional for a bit until it gets to one edge of the initial balance and then potentially reverse the other direction. So if you are a range trader, this is your day. Okay. All right. Let's take a look here, see if there's any questions. I'm not seeing them. So we'll go ahead and move on to the crude oil market. All right. Looking at the crude oil market, surprise, surprise. Crude oil is down. All right. So let's take a look and see. All right. So again, we remain in some sort of bearish structure here. Every time we start to maybe begin to think that maybe this will be the series of candles that cause the market to rally, we get another set of sellers coming in and saying, nope, not today, not on my watch. Okay, so we continue to be in some sort of bearish structure here to the downside. We have a developing bearish candle here that's developing. That's still we won't know exactly how it will close until the end of the session. Nonetheless, we are below 63, which is a psychological number. Okay, it could lead us to, again, some price action that leads us further to the downside here. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at the 4-hour chart. We're going to go ahead and turn off initial balance here. And the 4-hour chart really is not telling us much different than we've come to understand here. Okay, so here I have my channel. Okay, with this candle. Okay, with this candle, I'm breaking the channel here to the downside. Okay, so right now we're at 62.61. This the top of this is 63.33. Right, a relatively wide initial, wide range here on the 4-hour candle. But nonetheless, it looks like we are in a potential continuation trade in the crude oil. Okay, or I would say not trade, but move. Okay, taking a look at the 30-minute chart. 30-minute chart, again, you can see that price is moving away from settlement. You can see that price is below our VWAP, below our 9 EMA. I'm kind of thinking that maybe we're coming close. Yes, we have already extended the range to the downside. Okay, average daily range is well below the range. So we appear to be a bit extended here to the downside. Okay, so the question becomes now, how much further momentum do we have to the downside? We have a number of sellers here. It would not be, again, would not be a surprise if we managed to price to come back to, say, the 9 EMA or to the VWAP here before we continue. Okay. Yes. Crude oil continues to defy conventional thought. Correct. Right. With all the uncertainty in the market, with all the unrest that we see in the world, you would expect that crude oil would be along the lines of gold. It isn't. Okay. Right now, price is well below, right, our 9 EMA, well below our VWAP. But we don't trade the news, right? We trade the market, and the market is telling us that we should be looking for opportunities, right, to participate in this market. And I would say that participation probably is more along the lines of a bearish trade than a bullish one. Right now, there's a little bit of, you can see here that we had, this kind of 3-bar reversal pattern, right? Normally with that, it would indicate that we are maybe potentially headed higher. No, it was met with some sellers here. Okay. So that 3-bar reversal was kind of a little bit of a fake out here, and we continue to the downside. Okay. So let's take a look at, let's start with the fixed range volume profile. Let's get a sense of where price is in relation to yesterday's pricing. I think it's not going to be too much of a surprise here, but we'll go ahead and do it nonetheless here. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and start with the start of the session into the close of the session. And sure enough, right, we see that price is well below value, well below still a good amount of interest here to participate here to the downside in this market. A lot of sellers in this market at the moment. Okay. Now, when we get, again, similar to kind of the comment I made earlier, right? Once we get extended in one direction, we can't sustain this kind of direction, right? For very long, right? At some point, we're going to, this market is going to rally, right? And maybe rally to maybe a point here, right? Maybe value area low, 63. Okay. 63 seems like a logical level for me. Okay. Would be a logical level for me, maybe for price to rally to. Okay. And then look for maybe an area to participate in, right? That would be kind of a logical kind of sequence that I could potentially see. As much as I'm bearish in this market, it's difficult for me to participate at this point right here, okay? Because I feel like I'm taking on quite a bit of risk, right, in order to participate in this trade, right? So we're at 62.70. I feel like 63.21 is really the area that price becomes invalidated to the downside. So while I am bearish headed into the market, I think I need to. I know that I need to find better location to participate in this downside move. Okay. I need to find better location to participate in the downside move. Okay. Let's take a quick look here at the initial balance. Okay. We're going to go across the various markets here. We just had the initial balance range begin to establish here in this market. We'll take a quick look at the Tokyo. I think it's going to be very obvious here. Again, a nice extension. We really had a very narrow Asia range here, guys. We really need to begin to start looking at Asia here, guys, because we're getting monster moves. These are monster moves. These are combine passing moves. Okay, these are combine passing moves that we're getting, right, from 63.70 all the way down to 62.70. Okay, 100-point moves. Okay, 100-tick moves in these markets. Okay, so Asia session still very much bearish. London session, okay, also bearish. Okay, so what is New York going to do? Well, I feel that there's going to be some sort of rally in the cards here. Okay, I think there's going to be some sort of rally that rallies us maybe back to VWAP. Okay, before we see any sort of continuation move or momentum to the downside. That's kind of my current view. So while I am bearish, I need better location to participate. Right? Yes, 1 to 3, even better. Right? I mean, you're not risking all that much here, right? You have the initial balance range, you have settlement price above, Aslan, right? You're not risking all that much here to participate in a move that was probably 5 to 1, okay, or more. Okay, this would just out of curiosity here, guys. Now that you enter, somewhere on this break, right, and you take this all the way down here, okay, and again, what is that? What is that telling you? Right, that's a 22. That's almost a 3 to 1 risk reward trade, right? So nice risk reward. Don't have to risk all that much to participate in a very nice move to the downside. Okay, all right. So headed into the market, I remain bearish in the market. I do understand that we are extended here to the downside. Okay, so it would not be a surprise if we rally here a bit. Okay, so you have to decide which market you want. What do I want to participate in a trade that is a bit counter trend? Okay, where I don't have to risk all that much, but it's counter trend. So at any point, sellers could step in and drive price lower. Or do I wait for a better location and participate with what I'm seeing here in the market? I'm going to take the latter. I'm going to be patient. I'm going to wait for the 63 level to come in and maybe give me some evidence that they're going to take the market lower, and that's the trade that I'm going to be looking for. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead now and take a look at the equity markets here. Okay. So really super wide. Oh my God, really wide candle here, guys. Okay. With the news, we got a candle that initially went to the downside, and that's been kind of bought up here, right? So our initial move, I don't know if it was initial, but we certainly got to the lows here, okay, before we found some buyers in this market. Now let's take a look at the daily here, okay? So overall, we've gotten, let's turn off ADR here for a moment, okay? So overall, we continue to see that the market is in some sort of bullish structure here. Okay. Again, I think the sense is, or the belief is, that there's going to be some sort of rate decision that's going to be favorable to the markets here come on Monday. Okay. So the market is anticipating that, and as a result is rallying. Okay. So market is moving higher in anticipation of some sort of relaxation of our interest rates. Okay. So the market is very much in some sort of bullish structure here to the upside. We're coming up on this level that we've talked about before, okay, that has been resistant, okay, right around this 24,000 level. 24,000 has been resistant. We have not been able to get above, that level, okay? Let's take a look at the 4-hour chart. 4-hour chart, again, you see the same sequence of candles here. We're going to turn off initial balance here for a moment. You can see that price is above our 9 EMA, above our VWAP, above both indicators that are sloping to the upside. Okay, so everything is indicating that maybe there is some further upside opportunities in this market. Okay. Let's go ahead and move down to the 30-minute chart. Okay, looking at the 30-minute chart. Looking at the 30-minute chart again, really super wide, right? Super wide candle here, right? As a result of the news here. Okay, we got as low as 23,830 and snap right back to 23,952. Okay, right? So now, let's take a look at the fixed range volume profile here. Let's take a look at the start of Wednesday here. Okay, we're going to drag this across to the close. All right, so after all that movement, guys, with this wick, did we break any significant area of balance? We did break the area of balance to the downside, but did not manage to close below. Okay, so what happened? Well, we snapped right back in to balance, right? So we're in some sort of balance range in a market that's otherwise, I would say, bullish. Okay, yeah, bounced right off of well, not just value area low, but also settlement, right? We came down to value low and snapped right back inside of balance from the prior session. All right, let's take a look at initial balance. Let's get a sense for what some other market participants in different sessions were able to do with this market here. Okay, so Asia was pretty much, I would say, in range. Okay, this is pretty much range price action, not really any aggressive buyers or sellers during Asia. London came around. Okay, London came around, and we started to see some aggressive buying coming in. Okay, so we managed to extend the range to the upside, get to our 50% extension, and eventually reach the 100% extension of the range, but not without a pretty serious catalyst. Okay, so what are we seeing right now? Well, after this move to the upside, well, you would expect that maybe we would get some maybe follow through. What did we get? Nothing, right? We got nothing in the way of volume here, right? So we had a nice volume, right, of maybe 3,500 orders, okay, to the upside, and now we have 400 orders to the sell side, more sell orders. What happened to the buyers? Okay, they've disappeared. Okay, So in any case, we're still a little bit away here, about 15 minutes away from the open of the session. Again, price remains above some of these areas here. So it'll be interesting to see if we manage to hold above, let's say 23,937. That's the initial balance high from London. Okay, so I would expect this area here to be somewhat supportive. Okay, to price, and right now we're testing the 9 EMA. All right, developing a rather strong bearish candle in the opposite direction. Okay, so not sure what to make of this movement here. Probably need to wait and see if I get some additional information here. I am going to maybe look at this from a kind of a channel perspective here. Okay, and that's going to help maybe guide me here. I understand that I am in a bullish channel to the upside. I'm starting to see some price action to indicate maybe that we might revisit maybe some of the lows here. But as long as price remains inside this channel, I have to err on the side of the bulls. Okay. POC, does this chat look more bullish or neutral? If rejected at yesterday's POC, does this chart look more bullish or neutral? Okay. Yeah, like I said, as long as we remain above, I think these areas here. Okay, right now this is the point of control. As long as we remain above this area, I would say that we remain bullish. As long as we're inside this channel, I think we remain bullish. So I need to start to see some break of structure here before maybe I'm willing to change my opinion. Okay, to the downside. Okay, right now we are in a bullish channel, so I would say that we need to find bullish locations. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and take a look at the ES. We have about 15 minutes before the market opens here. So let's get through this market here. So again, on the daily, we are seeing again signs. We had a very strong bullish candle here that's developing in this market, and we continue to grind. I call it a grind, right? To the upside. Okay. We are in uncharted territory, right? We're at all-time highs in this market. Okay. So really nothing indicating that we are reversing here, and at least in the short term. Okay. Daily still looks like a very bearish chart here. All right. Taking a look at the 4-hour, kind of zooming in on these daily candles. We're going to go ahead and turn off the initial balance range here a little bit here. Okay. Just taking a look at what the market has been able to do of late. So you can see that we've been in some sort of range of late, have not been able to sustain or hold above 65.60, right? Every time we've reached 65.60, that's been met with some sellers. Okay, so price is kind of hanging out in some sort of range, waiting for some additional information. Okay, maybe to help them decide as to which direction they should take the market. Okay, so while the market is bullish, I could see that maybe right around London time, we've kind of moved in some sort of range kind of price action. Okay, let's take a look at the 30-minute chart. Okay, so there's that news candle that we saw in the Nasdaq, right? That took us back down to value area low and settlement, only to find buyers. Okay, so right now we had that reaction candle. Now, of all things, after that kind of reaction, you would expect maybe that we would be getting some sort of follow through to the upside. On the contrary, we got a candle that is showing signs of some weakness. Was this maybe to the upside? Was this a little bit of an overreaction? Is this maybe sellers are starting to get maybe some confidence that maybe that news that caused this rally was not all that positive, and now maybe they're starting to get a little bit of a foothold, maybe to take the market lower? I don't know. What I do know is that we got a strong reaction to the upside. We do remain above our 9 EMA. We do remain above our VWAP, and price is above not only our value range here on the right, but also above settlement. Okay, so let's take a look at our fixed range volume profile and see what the market is telling us from a profile perspective. So we'll go ahead and start with the start of yesterday's session into the close. here of yesterday's session. You can, again, a little bit stronger, I would say. If I extend this line here over to the right, you can see that price is above value, right? We got price above value. This opened above a value. We are certainly testing value area high. We are above the 90 MA. We are above the VWAP. Okay. So again, as long as we are able to stay above, we're building up some volume here up at the upper end of this volume profile here on the right. So I'm going to change the point of control to be a different color because black is not a good color for me to call out that range. Okay. So we're building up some volume here. What happened with Friday's drop? It has completely reversed that drop. It's a sign of, yes, definitely a sign of some resiliency in this market, no doubt. Okay. Right now, like I said, the market does appear to be somewhat bullish. I would say that as long as price remains above value, above the 90 MA, above the VWAP, that I think we need to continue to look for opportunities for higher pricing. Okay, so that's kind of what I'm going to be waiting for. Let's go ahead and take a look at the initial balance here and see across the various markets here. So we'll take a look at Asia to start. Okay, so let's take a look at Asia and see what Asia was able to do with this market. Again, very similar to the NASDAQ. Asia was pretty much range. London found some buyers in this market. Okay, so London was able to extend the range and get to not only the 50%, but eventually up to the 100% extension, but not without, potentially hitting some stops along the way, right? So still London was still able to take the market bullish. Okay. And we are still seeing some signs of, price being above some areas where we would consider bullish opportunities. Okay. So as long as price remains above these levels, I need to continue to look for opportunities that would offer me opportunities to the upside in this market. If we price starts to break below some of these levels, then maybe I could start to turn my attention here to maybe some bearish trades. We are at a level that we have had historically been trouble to getting above. Okay, this is the first time in a while. Okay, that we're at, not a while. Yesterday's basically a high of yesterday's range. Now we're back at that level again. Are we going to find some sellers? Well, we'll know here in the next few minutes if there are some sellers here around these ranges. Okay, so headed into the market, I would say that I remain still bullish. Okay, but understand that I might be in an area where I might find some sellers. Okay, all right, let's take a look at the Dow here. Again, we remain, I would say, is probably the most neutral of the three markets here. If this is not range, guys, I really don't know how to define range to you guys. Okay, if this is not in some sort of range, we're kind of barcoding here, right? We got overlapping candles, right? So while the market has been moving higher, right now we are in some sort of consolidation range in the Dow, right? Really not giving us much indication as to the direction. Every time we try to get above 45,800, we get it stops, and basically, we've hung out in this range here of late. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at the 4-hour. The 4-hour, we're going to turn off initial balance here. Again, you can see same kind of range, kind of price action, just more candles, right? Have not been able to break, or maybe once we break structure to one direction, that entices the other participants to come in and step in the market. So again, right, nothing really obvious here as to the direction. We have overlapping prices, overlapping our 90 MA, overlapping our VWAP. Really difficult to say exactly which direction they want to take this market. All right, let's take a look at the 30-minute chart. Okay, again, you can see that we got a nice reaction here away from settlement as a result of the news. We broke some structure here to the upside. Okay, price is above our 9 EMA, above our VWAP. Okay, giving us some indications, but we are still below our point of control for this visible range volume profile. Well, we were until I started to modify my candles here. Let's see. Okay, in any case, we have a good amount of volume that we reacted away from. Prices reacted away from settlement, reacted away from VWAP, reacted away from the 9 EMA, and now we have a developing bearish candle in a swing that honestly is, we're in a swing, right? We're in a swing that's to the downside, okay? So kind of a little bit of a mixed bag here. Let's take a look at the fixed range volume profile. Let's see what price was able to do in the various sessions, or actually yesterday's price action here. Okay, so you can see that we're at the upper end of value from yesterday. Okay, price is above it, but we are getting a bearish candle here. So again, as long as price remains above our value area high, right, we have to think, somewhat bullish in this market. Okay, let's take a look at the initial balance range. Let's see what the various markets or sessions we're able to do with this. Let's take a look at the Asia session to start. Okay, so Asia, at the tail end of the Asia into London, we initially Asia was pretty much range throughout the Asia session. It wasn't until we got to the London session that we were able to drive price higher. Okay, so again, we got a nice extension, right? A nice extension, similar to the other markets here, to the upside, right? We got to the 50%, we got to the 100%. But it required some catalyst, right? The news that we received. Okay, so again, similar to what we were saying with the other equity markets. As long as price remains above some of these indicators that we have, I think we have to look at maybe opportunities to the bullish side. If we start to see price close below some of the same indicators that we're saying that is offering us a bullish view, then maybe we could turn our attention to maybe more bearish kind of price action or bearish kind of trades. All right, let's take a look across the markets and see kind of what's developing here. So let's open up the other markets. We'll just take one final pass across all the markets here and just get a sense of what the market is saying to us. Well, again, a little bit of a mixed bag. In the gold, I would say that we're probably looking at some sort of range kind of price action in this market. I would say neutral to bearish, I think, is what I'm kind of seeing right now. Neutral to bearish in this market. As long as we remain below some of these indications, then maybe that's the path of least resistance is to the downside. But I expect that the market will probably remain in some sort of range today, given the wide initial balance range. All right. Crude oil continues, I think, to the downside. We are seeing evidence of further downside price action. I would say that that I could, be convinced that maybe we get some sort of rally back to the 63 level would be ideal. But I do need to see some sort of pullback, right? Some sort of pullback at an area where I can maybe look to participate in this market here. Okay, very difficult to me to go short here and pay retail. I need to see some sort of pullback, some sort of an indication that price can again move up and then fail. And then I would like to be a part of that move. Okay. Moving down to the equity markets, I think overall, I think we looked at this. Looks like we continue to show signs of bullish price action. In the NASDAQ, we are inside value. Okay. Inside some sort of balance zone. Okay. But nonetheless, we remain in some sort of bullish structure here. That's noted here by this bullish channel. ES. Okay. I would say is probably a bit stronger. Okay. We are above value. Right, we're above value, and again in the same kind of bullish structure that we were talking about. Okay, Nasdaq on the other hand was inside some balance zone, right? So the fact that we are above value from yesterday is indicating to me that the ES maybe is a bit stronger to the upside. Okay, and then last but not least, the Dow, again similar to the ES, we see that price is above our value from yesterday, showing a little bit of weakness here, probably not the same level of strength, but still nonetheless above our value area high, which again indicates that there's still a fair amount of interest here to the upside in this market. Okay. All right. I think that's pretty much what I have for you guys. I'm just going to pause here to see if there's any questions in chat. Otherwise, I'm just going to encourage you guys to hit the like, hit the subscribe, give me a comment or two in the portal on how this is supporting your trading and analysis and preparation for the markets. And with that, I think we'll just go ahead and close with trade well, trade safe, trade like a pro, be a market trader. All right, guys, have an excellent day trading and definitely stay green. Okay. Thank you, Aslan. Appreciate it. All right, guys, have a good day. Talk to you soon.